So we have a certificate of special recognition, and I'd like to have Diane Rauh come over and stand with us. This is presented to the City Clerk of Des Moines, Diane Rauh. Now therefore, I, T.M. Franklin County, the Mayor of the City of Des Moines, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby issue this certificate of special recognition for the dedication and service provided by City Clerk Diane Rauh to the City of Des Moines, Iowa. Diane has played an important role in our city's history. She approved more than 1,600 ordinances, provided countless hours of sage wisdom, and she's not kidding. Adjourned so many city council meetings I can't even count them, meetings as late as 10:22, and has been involved in almost every major initiative the city has undertaken over the past few decades, from Plan DSM to budget meetings and beyond. Throughout her public service career of 35 years as an account clerk, a permit clerk, a license clerk, senior license clerk, chief deputy city clerk, and for the past 16 years as our city clerk. Diane served the residents and visitors of Des Moines efficiently and effectively and with such a positive attitude. Diane's dedication and enthusiasm in which she approaches leading the city clerk's office, volunteer committee positions, providing delicious homemade refreshments for city council on occasion, especially around the state fair, I want you to know. Planning events and numerous other roles is an example to us all. It is fitting that today, during her last city council meeting, make it her 640th career city council meeting. We recognize her commitment to the city of Des Moines, city council, the residents of our city, with this certificate of special recognition. The city of Des Moines joins in recognizing Diane for all that she has accomplished and thanks her for the significant contributions she has made to the city and our community. This is presented this 23rd day of September 2019. Diane. I should ask Diane if she has a couple of words that she would like, and then we have some other stuff, and I'll turn it over to our council, and our councilman Chris Coleman, who has been here for a while, is retiring also, and he has been here longer than any of the rest of us, and we've asked him to kind of step up and say a couple things, but I'd like to turn it over to Diane now.
Thank you. As many of you know, I'm a crier. So we have declared no crying in City Hall Day today. So I'm going to try and get through my remarks. I'd like to thank the mayor and the council for allowing me to serve for 35 years. And I've been honored to assist them and assist the citizens of Des Moines with their needs and hopefully help the city become the great city it is. I would like to thank my husband. He has put up with a lot over the years. You know, with my frustrations after a crazy day, but the fact that I made him get a permit every time he did any kind of work at our house is one thing I did. I would like my staff to stand up. No crying in City Hall. These are the hardest working people I have ever known. Then they're committed to their excellent customer service, and I could just go on and on and on, but thank you all. Now stay standing. I'd like all the other city employees to please stand up. You cannot work somewhere for 35 years without your colleagues becoming your family, and each and every one of you have a special place in my heart. Thank you. Now, I'm also going to tune in on Monday nights to just make sure everybody's behaving themselves, and I will be sending emails if I feel the need. So, thank you.
Okay. Would all your staff come up here with us? Let's get them in this kind of group picture here, and then we'll proceed with some other stuff here. We good?
I hope everybody knows that next Monday, the 30th, we're going to have an open house right here for friends of Diane and all city staff to wander through. And we hope citizens come by too and thank her for her years of service. Afterwards, the council and Stuart and Diane are all going to go to a little private dinner, no register. We won't talk shop at all. But it'll be a nice way for us to thank Diane personally. And we have something for you that night that's more personal. But we wanted to give you a couple of things tonight as a token of our appreciation.
Sweet. We'll start with this, flowers. Those up there. Thank you. That's some sweetness. You want to take a picture? Oh, okay, and sweetness. Chocolate's good with flowers, right?
You get that picture.
Okay,
640 city council meetings sounds more like a sentence than than an honor. Those meetings, one they listed lasted until 10/22. One of the things that's amazing about Diane's experience is every once in a while I'd ask her, trying to plan family events or whatever, do you think it'll be a long meeting or a short meeting? She never said long meeting, short meeting, extra long meeting. She always said like 8:22. And as far as I know, she's won virtually every staff contest for the prediction of the longest or how long each meeting will last. One of the reasons we stay on time is that she had a very important tool that the council appreciated. It's gone. I stole it Friday.
Oh, now it's taped shut, too.
I can hear what's inside. One of my biggest fears during council meetings was that I would accidentally ding the bell when one of them was speaking. It's not happened, but it did occur to me. If anyone comes to the reception on the 30th, you will hear a list of 10 things that I'm going to miss and 10 things I'm not going to miss. And the number one thing I'm not going to miss is having to ding this bell.
This is more for Laura and Kay. I did buy a replacement bell, so you can use that one tonight, but we'll put that one up there. And I know the council wants to say something as well, but hey, Laura, where did? We, as a council, we're looking for something to do to honor Diane. And as far as I'm concerned, while the council gets a lot of credit for things that happen, we're really a city of staff, of people that work here every day, and 3 people report to us. We have the city manager and the city attorney, and I think of Diane as the chief hospitality officer, our city clerk. Everybody felt welcomed, and everybody knew that they had a caring heart and a listening ear. And when you walk into City Hall, we have a little area now with a TV and some couches and just kind of a little welcome center there in the foyer. And so tonight, at the end of the agenda, with the magic fingers of Laura and Jeff Lester, on our agenda is an action to place this sign down there before your party next week. And we're going to name it the Diane Rauh City Hall Foyer. And the foyer will be named in honor of one of Des Moines' most dedicated public servants. City Clerk Diane Rauh retired on September 30th, 2019, after 35 years of service to Des Moines. During her tenure, she welcomed thousands of people into City Hall with enthusiasm and kindness, and we want people to know that forever. I get to do the invocation tonight, and it's a little personal tribute to things that I love about Diane. The one thing that I'd say that I always find humorous, and then I'll let the other council members speak, if that's all right, Mayor. People like to say in organizations like the city that, you know, they know where the bodies are buried. You know, they got an inside track. In the city, when somebody says they know where the body's buried, that basically means they know Diane's number, because she's the only one that knows where all the bodies are buried. And she has been such help to any of us that have served in this role or lead a department or start new at the city. Your service, hospitality, and kind nature will be missed dearly.
Other members?
I didn't know we were going to speak, but I will speak. I didn't have anything rehearsed, and she knows how difficult this is going to be for me. I'll tell you, from the moment I walked into her office 5 years ago when I won my first election, she has been kind, considerate, caring, just she's an amazing lady. A lot of you that don't know her personally, she's just, I don't know what else to say, but you are amazing. Your staff is amazing. When I was coming upstairs, I told one of them that, we've never had to worry about the city clerk's office. I've never had one complaint, one email, nothing since I've been elected, and that is because of the leadership there. So thank you.
Diane, I just want to echo what Joe said, but 4 years ago when I walked in here, you welcomed me. You did everything you could to make me feel welcome and provide me with the information that we needed, so thank you.
And I'll say the 3 words everybody loves to hear. I'll be brief. Same thing happened to me. You know, when I first got elected, the first person to greet me was Diane. And I was about as green as you could be. She's pointing me in directions. Here's where you need to go. Stop over at HR, do this, do that. I really started to feel like I was part of the team then. It meant so much to me. And then as the years went by, and that was 2014 is when I came walking through the door, she was protecting me from some of my own foibles, so I looked to her for all of the guidance. What should we be doing? How do we get this done? And people would always call, where do I get my permits? Well, you're going to start with Diane. Great job, Diane. Thanks, Bill.
Well, I'm newer on the council, but one of the things that is very clear about the way the city works is that it's really built on the service and dedication of our staff. And no one exemplifies that service and dedication better than Diane in the city clerk's office. And that's one of the most important things that you bring to the team, is you set that model for all of us. And we'll strive to honor that every time we walk through that Welcome Center.
What do you say to a legend in Des Moines? You've been so helpful, having come from one elected office to another elected office, to make that transition. You made it seamless, and giving everybody the advice and the information you need it's so critical when you go into this role, so we can't appreciate you enough. And I know that I might be seeing you at the state fair. So you're not going to get away. If anybody doesn't know, she enters how many contests? Several food contests, so we'll be seeing you out there. Maybe you can give me a good apple recipe, so thanks, Diane.
Unless, Scott?
I think we're going to have an opportunity to thank you. I would say that in representing the 2,000 employees, and not just right now employees, but over the years, we want to all thank you. And we're going to have that opportunity over the next week or so to remind you of that and share the stories that I know are dear to you as well. So thank you.
I've been here about 9. Diane and I work very closely together, and as Diane would probably tell you, if I go too long, not only will she ring the bell, but she'll punch me in the throat. And everybody that works here knows what that means. Since I got here 9 years ago, Diane has been somebody that I know I can always count on. My staff always counts on her and her staff. We work together, I think, seamlessly, effortlessly. She knows things to bring to my attention. She knows things to direct to the manager and back to council. And she's always got the answer. She might go to someone else for them to make the delivery, but Diane's the one that knows what's going on around here. So we're going to miss you, and I think I'm going to miss you most of all. So.
You know, Diane, I've been so proud to represent the citizens city of Des Moines and as the mayor and work with wonderful elected city leaders. And I will tell you, we don't always agree. But, you know, I think we always pledge to work together, and we spend lots of time at neighborhood meetings. We go around, and, you know, when we need base information and people are calling us, and we need to do it. I always knew that Diane was the one that I could go to, is that not only did she know where the bodies were buried, she knew where the information was buried, that sometimes we needed to achieve what neighbors were asking. And until we got the app, of course, now with the potholes, she even, you know, had to spend a little bit of time with that sort of stuff. And, you know, I will also say a lot of us in our lives, excuse me, have gone through some tough times. And I know that, you know, when I came down here, the clerk's office, all of these individuals that are sitting up here, but Diane, they were always here to support, to give advice. Is there anything I can do? And how can we work through all these issues? How can we solve problems? And Diane was one of those people, and almost like like our mother. And she was there for us, and she supported all of us. And I'm just speaking a little bit for the people here, but I've got to tell you also, she did that for the citizens of the city of Des Moines. And for that, Diane, we thank you, and we're proud. Let's get this meeting going. What do you think?
Council, citizens, Diane.
There's water on there.
I grew up in a house with 6 kids, and one of my most vivid memories was sitting in our family room where we had a plaque on the wall. And it's it's something that has probably been the most quoted thing I've ever said in my life. And I put it up on the screen today, and it's a little twist of words, but it says, "It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice." And on your behalf, Diane, I taped that to everybody's desks up here. And I hope it stays there for a couple weeks or months, and that it's a good reminder to all of us to do our job on behalf of the citizens the way you always did your job. I never once heard you throw your weight around or pull rank with anybody. What was important wasn't that you were important, but that what you did was important, and it was always kind. Thank you very much for your service, and tonight, as just a way to memorialize and remember Diane and her spirit here, I taped that up, this sign here, on everybody's desk. And I hope each of us, and I hope the citizens of Des Moines, think about that today and think about ways where we can continue being people that are kind, nice, courteous, hospitable to others, rather than be preoccupied about our own importance. And maybe it would be worth just a second of thinking about that. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Council.
Good evening, Mayor and County, members of the council. My name is Mel Pins. I live at 210 East Bundy Avenue in Des Moines, Iowa. And Mayor, County, I might ask if, with your discretion, you could tell Diane not to start the 3-minute timer for a second, so I can give her some thanks and accolades from a citizen neighborhood perspective for all of her service in Des Moines. I've served on the Zoning Board of Adjustment for a number of years, and Diane always coordinated all the appointments to the boards and commissions, dozens of boards, commissions, hundreds of citizens. And when I was first appointed, I get this email from the city clerk, and she said, "Are you the Mel Pins who went to Martinsdale St. Mary's Community School?" And I said, "There's only one Mel Pins, that was me." Diane and her family are from Martinsdale. Her dad was the superintendent, David Anktel, for many years at Martinsdale St. Mary's Community. And her little brother, Phil, was in my class. So they lived in the superintendent's house across from the school, and when I hung out with Phil, we'd go in Diane's room and look through her LP collection and spin a lot of her records. And I think it could have been the Eagles, it might have been AC/DC, I can't remember. But Diane
Long way to the top if you want to rock.
But Diane is a great person from
Well
a
played.
very good family, and she's proof that kids from little towns can do good things in the big city. So congrats, Diane. Thank you, Mel. So it's okay, you can start your timer now.
It's already running.
We have an extra item. This particular item was put on the agenda. It is a top-secret item.
It was top secret to Jeff until 20 minutes before the meeting, too.
Right.
So he had to scramble.
So this is the, whereas on May 4th, 2009, by roll call number 09801, the city council adopted the policy for naming of streets, facilities, and parklands in the city of Des Moines, and whereas this such policy provides for a council-initiated naming request and also provides for the city council to make exceptions to the staff or board commission review and recommendation or public hearing process set forth in the policy upon finding appropriate circumstances to consider or expedite the naming of a city street, facility, parkland, or park facility. And whereas the city council desires to commemorate and honor former city clerk Diane Rauh for her dedication of service to the city of Des Moines, and unanimously, and since this is your last meeting, we don't mean, because we expect you to stay here every minute until
You're sitting at home, you're turning it off by now. You're watching something else.
that the naming of the first floor foyer of City Hall is an appropriate action in light of her long-standing service of 35 years to the city of Des Moines. And whereas in order to expedite such naming, the city council desires to waive the requirements of the city's policy for naming of streets, facilities, and parkland for the naming of the foyer. I know that a lawyer wrote this, I'm telling you, we could have done it in a few less words. Foyer of City Hall in honor of Diane Rauh. And now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Des Moines that the first floor foyer at City Hall shall be and is hereby named and to be known as the Diane Rauh Foyer. And it was sponsored by our own council member, Christopher Coltman.
We've had a lot of discussion, Diane. We very much appreciate your service, and I am thrilled to move this. Doing it tonight will allow the sign to go up, so when people come through on her party day on the 30th, we'll have a chance to see it, so.
Would anybody like to make any comments?
If I talked for just 92 more minutes, it would be the longest meeting of your
Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks.
7 yes.
Thanks a lot.
If somebody moved to adjourn, either that
Move.
or by acclamation,
Yeah,
let's
by
say this
acclamation.
meeting is adjourned.